Okay, so I am shooting this so early in the morning. It is like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I figured, what the heck? Why not get on and show you guys this absolutely beautiful scarf that I made out of a double crochet V-stitch. Okay, and this is like so cozy and warm, and it wraps around at least like twice, so it's nice and bulky. This is a great gift. I actually have 3 of these that I have to make in the same color, so I figured I have this one already completed. Why not start another one and show you guys how it's done? And then I can show you how to finish it off, but love these multicolored yarns that have more than one color in them. Okay, so what we are going to be using for this is we are going to be using the Lion brand Mandala Sparkle yarn, and it's got all these pretty little sparkles in it, and I think you might be able to pick those up. I did not even use a full ball of yarn because here's my other ball that I had, which I might use the remaining balance of this to make a hat. You never know. Okay, so let's grab our crochet hook. Again, I am using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook today. I have my trusty scissors. We are going to need a tape measure for this because we want to make sure that before we sew this together, that it reaches 56 inches on our tape measure. Okay, this is a really super simple pattern to do, and because it's done in all double crochet, it gets done really quickly. So let's grab our materials. Some yarn. You don't have to use this yarn. You most certainly can use the Super Saver yarn, which is a little bit of a thicker yarn. I am just using this because it's so soft, it's so pretty, and it's just so delicate looking. And they absolutely will love these colors. So let's grab our materials. Of course, I have my ever popular trusty coffee. Always got to have the coffee before I start crocheting. So I'm going to grab my materials and let's get this started. This pattern is any multiple of 3 plus 3. So if you do, say, what we're going to do is 33 chains, we are doing actually 30 chains plus 3 more. So if you wanted to do I generally like to make my scarves anywhere between 7 and 10 inches long. This measures out, I want to say, let me see, I can't really remember. It'd be good if I had my tape measure. This one actually measures out to be around 8 inches wide, so it's perfect. And I just absolutely love this pattern. It is such a pretty pattern, and it's so easy to do. Okay, so let's get this started. We are going to start with our ever popular slip knot. Wrap our yarn around our index finger, 2 lines, beep, bada boop, and we have our slip knot. We're going to put this onto our hook, and with this pattern I am going to begin to chain 33 chains. So how do we do a chain? Wrap our yarn around our hook, pull through 1, wrap our yarn around our hook, pull through 2, wrap our yarn around our hook, pull through 3, and you guys can keep on going until you reach 33 chains. Okay, so once we have our 33 chains, and remember, this has to be divisible by 3, so 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. I am doing 30 because this is going to be in and around, I want to say around 7.5 to 8 inches wide. You can make your scarf however wide you would like. Okay, so remember, this has to be multiples of 3. And we are going to start this in the 4th chain from the hook. Small amounts of yarn. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we're going to wrap our yarn around our hook, go into that 4th chain, pull up a loop, wrap our yarn around our hook, pull through 2, wrap your yarn around your hook, pull through 2. Now that we have done that, we are going to chain 1. We are going to wrap our yarn around our hook, go into the very next chain, and pull up a loop, wrap your yarn around your hook, pull through 2, and pull through 2. This is our very first V-stitch. So we are going to skip the next chain, and we are going to do a double crochet in the next chain. We are going to chain 1, and we are going to do a double crochet in the next chain. Okay, so we see how we're starting to get these V's going here. Once we get to the second row of this, it will start forming a lot more. Okay, so we're going to skip this chain here. We're going to go into the next chain and do a double crochet. Chain 1, go into the next stitch, double crochet. We're going to skip this stitch, we're going to go into the next stitch, double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. After the last tutorials on how to do the granny square, you guys should be the double crochet masters. So we are now doing another V, so we got to chain 1, go into the next stitch. Okay, so here's what you should have. This is just our turning chain here on the end. So you should have a V, skip a space, okay, double crochet, chain, double crochet, skip a chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, skip a space, double crochet, chain, double crochet, skip a space, double crochet, chain, and double crochet. And you're going to continue this all the way down. Everywhere that you skip a chain, you do not put another chain. Okay? And everywhere that we're going to be putting a V, where we go right next to the other chain, we chain 1 and then put another double crochet. So we're going to skip this. We got this one here. We're going to skip this chain here and go into this chain. Once we get onto row number 2, that is going to be the repeat for this pattern. Okay? This is like the simplest scarf that you will ever make, and it goes very quickly once you get the hang of it. So I'm going to come back at the end of the row and we will advance to row number 2. Okay, so I've just put in my last V stitch. I'm going to skip a space. You're going to have one more chain, and we're going to put a double crochet in that very last chain because we. Okay, so this is what your pattern should begin to look like. So now we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We are going to turn our work. Okay, now we are going to skip this space here, and everywhere where you see a chain 1 is where we are going to put our V stitch. So we have one double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Okay, so just like before down below, we skipped a chain, which is right here. So we yarn over, we skip a chain, we go into the next one. That's where our V stitch is going to go, and our V stitch consists of one double crochet, a chain, and a double crochet. Okay, skip a space, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, double crochet, chain, double crochet. And this is literally the repeat pattern for all of this. Yarn over, go skip a space, skip the space, go into this chain 1 space here that we created for our V, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and this is the repeat for all of your rounds. And what we want to get is a length. If you want one of those really nice long wrappy round that you can wrap around twice scarves, this is going to have to grow to about 56 inches. What I love about this pattern is that you can use it with any type of a yarn, and when you use like light colors like this, it looks almost lacy. So, and this is definitely a beginner's scarf to do because it's really simple. It's just double crochet and chaining. As long as you follow the repeat on the pattern, it's going to come out beautiful every single time. So we're going to skip. We're going to go right into the V-stitch. Skip that chain. I'm going to skip it right here. We're going to go into the V. Okay. Every time we go into a V, we put a V. Okay? If you mess up, it's okay. Just go with it. It's such a lovely pattern. Nobody's going to even notice if you did mess up. They're just going to say, oh my goodness, you made me this scarf. It's absolutely beautiful. Or, oh wow, you made that scarf for yourself? That's so nice. Okay? So we are coming down to the very last V-stitch. Okay, we're going to skip this one. We're not putting in it. When we skip to the next V-stitch, we are not putting in a chain to follow. Okay? Now, our last V-stitch is going in. Now, to go to the advanced to bring this up, because when we came around before, we just kind of went upward. Okay, so we're going to go into the top of the chain 3. Okay, so 1, so you can see here we got our chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the very tippy top of that chain, we're going to insert our hook, pull through, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and that is what our scarf is going to be looking like. That is the repeat pattern for this. So what do we do next? Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we turn our work. We do not go into this space here right next door. Where are we going? Oh yes, that's right, we are headed into the V's. V's, remember, we gotta go to the V's. Okay, so 1, and chain 1, 1 double crochet. Okay, and this is literally the repeat pattern for this. Okay, you put in a V, you skip a space, you go into the next V's. So basically, when you're putting your V's in, you are actually looking for the V before that, okay, to put in another V. And that's why they call it a double crochet V stitch. So, and once you are done with that, you will have a scarf that looks like this. Okay, I created this past week, and I absolutely love this. It's going to be beautiful for a Christmas gift for my family. So now that I have showed you this, what we're going to need to do to make this one of those nice infinity scarves that we can wrap around our necks twice, I left this tail on. Okay, mine definitely does measure out at 56 inches. I need to find my scissors. Okay, we are going to cut off about, I want to say 24 inches of yarn just to sew this in. Okay, and this is where your tapestry needle comes in handy. Okay, this is a great rainy day, cold day project to do. I just love doing scarves. I love seeing people all nice and warm, and that might be because, well, when I do my job, I generally freeze. But anyways, so before we do this, I want to just make sure that I am tying this off a little bit on the end here. I know that we're going to sew the ends together, so I'm not going to worry about a big giant knot because I really don't want a big giant knot to be seen. And that, we're going to put this tail up in here so that we can start sewing it in. And like I said before, once before, I am definitely not the best at sewing. It is not one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so here we have our thing. I'm going to get my yarn on my yarn needle. I'm just going to thread that right through. I like these plastic ones with the big eyes. Okay, so we have our yarn. We're going to line up our edges together, okay? And I'm going to make sure that this is not tangled in any way, shape, or form. And I'm just going to start inserting my hook, or my, yeah, it's early in the morning for me. Inserting my needle in between here and here, okay, because I want to make sure that, first of all, I want to make sure that I don't really have a seam that's too visible. I mean, obviously one of these is going to be inside, and this is what I'm talking about. You want to make sure that this little tail that's from earlier starts to come this way, okay? So that we can kind of hide that a little bit. Because one of these is going to be inside and one of these is going to be outside. And I just like kind of go along and I just pick up each one of the chains and the loops from the beginning and I just kind of just sew it together. However you were taught to sew is perfectly fine. This is just how I like to do it. Take your time with this and have fun. Okay, so I hope that you guys are enjoying, again, my tutorials on how to crochet. This was just one yarn piece that I knew that I could actually do and show you guys, and you would actually really like it. It's such a pretty pattern. And it's simple. Double crochets, chain, a double crochet, a V-stitch. It's not a massive ordeal, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So you guys, I am going to continue sewing this together today. I'm going to continue hiding my tail, and at this moment I think this tail is far enough in here that I could just snip the tail off. Nobody's really going to see that tail anyways. Just to get it out of the way. And this is exactly how, if you were going to do like granny squares, this is exactly how you would sew them together too, just about. Sewing is sewing. If you can sew, then you're doing just fine. You're going to be just fine with this. If you're like me where you're really not the best sewer, you kind of have to kind of pay attention to it. But I think these scarves are just absolutely beautiful. Especially this particular type of a pattern. I actually have to say, I do love these colors. I mean, they're not exactly my colors, but they're definitely my cousin's. And my younger cousin, who actually I'm just way older than he is, has a girlfriend, and these are actually, one of these is actually for her. And her name is Sophia, and she's such a sweetheart. We love her to death. And I'm so glad that she is coming to the family Christmas this year. And I'm so glad that I have the opportunity to make her something for Christmas. Yes, I could go to the store and just buy her whatever. But when you hand make a gift and give it to somebody, that's the gift that keeps on giving. Because it came from your heart. And that's what Christmas should, that's what the holidays are all about. Okay? The holidays are about being with your family and loved ones. And right now,
being with my family and my loved ones is the only gift I ever wanted this year. This year will be the first time I've seen my family in 2 years. I don't know about the rest of everybody, but it's the first time I've seen my family in 2 years. Okay, I'm coming to the end of the sewing. And I want to make sure that I tie this off good at the end. But I also want to make sure that I hide this little itty bitty tail that's coming in. You know, some like to use fabric glue. I would just prefer to just hide this right into my, hide it right into my like first stitches and stuff. But make sure that you're in the color that you're using to sew this up with, so that it's not visible. But this is absolutely a beautiful scarf. I really have to say, I was a little skeptical about these colors, but my cousin did pick out the colors, so I thank her so much. And Barb, when you finally get to see this, I want to say thank you so much for helping me pick out the colors of these scarves, because they are absolutely beautiful. Okay, last stitch. Now I just want to tie this off like I normally would do any sewing thing, anything that you sew with. I like to make sure that there's a good knot in there, so in case this tail is ever like spotted somewheres or found, it's tied completely. Okay, so what I like to generally do with my tails, these, is I like to just go in to a few stitches along the edge here, because I can actually pull this that way and nobody's going to see. And I can pull this tight, snip that off, and there we have it. We have our V-stitch, our double crocheted V-stitched scarf, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Look at all these colors and the pattern on this. I absolutely love, love, love this. This is like one of my favorites.
Okay. So I hope you guys had a blast with how to do the double crochet V-stitch. I know I had fun making it for you. Remember, have fun with what you're doing and keep it real, because I know I do each and every day, and I can't believe I just did this at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, have a good day, guys. See you later. Bye. Happy crocheting.